I let AI help me script a video about induction cooking science, and it bombed. I mean, crickets. Now, this whole adventure started when I bought this, and then I built this, and then I built this. Now, the original video was kind of scripted using AI to give me some ideas. Obviously, I did all the visuals, but it didn't work. And what was missing, I think, is I don't think people understood what was going on. I'm going to show you that little video, and we're going to explain the results in simple terms that even a non-sciencey person will understand. So first of all, why did I build this? Why did I build this? Some of you are going to look at this pull rig here and say, Dennis, that's a bit crazy. But what turned out to be the case is that a fridge magnet will show you, yes, if there is some magnetic material in a pan base, it doesn't really tell you how much. And I wanted to know, does that make a difference? So what I did is I built a rig that would actually test how magnetic a base was. Now what we have here is a scrap of wood, a puck magnet. I'll put a link in. It's just a magnet with a metal case around it so you can put a screw through it, and a hook, and a fish scale, which hopefully is teared over here. And well, let's tear it. Now what I do is I hang the magnet off the fish scale, and the idea is to bring it into contact with the, and you just heard a click there, and as I start to pull up, you'll see the scale increase, which just shows me how much force it takes to pull that magnet off. Now I put 3 sticky notes in between, and the reason I did that in the video is to sort of isolate the texture of the pan and also to mitigate some of the strength of this magnet. So you could actually go to a store with a magnet like this and check for yourself with a little pull test I show to see just how magnetic the base is. So I've designed a test essentially to show you how much magnetic metal is in the base of the pot. That's the pull rig. What about this contraption? Now I have seen a number of cookware videos, and I didn't think that the method used to measure the time to boil was all that scientific. And what I wanted to do was measure how much energy was actually going into the pan when I cranked it up, which I'm doing through the use of an AOTech heavy-duty 240 volt module, which is connected to my induction cooktop in the house. That is a 240 volt device that shows how much power the induction cooktop is using. Then I wanted to take the temperature measurement and the boil point up a notch for accuracy by building this rig. And what is this? Well, this is a Shelly Uni module. It's kind of a multi-purpose smart device. You can take a dumb appliance and configure this to make it smart. It is a Wi-Fi connected device, so it's connected into Home Assistant, where I'm kind of gathering all the data. Home Assistant is just a home automation platform. The Shelly Uni is configured to use these temperature probes, and I'm averaging the temperature across the 3 of them. That's why there's 3, and that's why there's 3 holes in this sort of custom aluminum lid that I made. Just has some rubber grommets in it. It's just a disc of aluminum that I cut out to fit the various pots so that I could put the temperature probes in, average the temperature, and get a really accurate read on what temperature I was starting at and what temperature I was finishing at. Now, I decided to use 60 degrees Fahrenheit as the start temp. So the test starts when the water passes 60 degrees Fahrenheit and stops when it gets to 212, the boiling point. So that's what we'll call it the hat. And the hole in the middle and this lid is just so I can actually observe. And on camera, you can actually see that the water's boiling. It allows you to drop these temperature probes in. And in every one of the tests, I put the temperature probes approximately a ½ inch from the bottom of the pot so that it would be consistent across the different tests. ½ inch from the bottom, a liter of water each time, and the 3 temperature probes averaging the temperature. Again, 60 degree Fahrenheit was the start, 212 was the end. That's the window that the data was gathered during. I use something called Home Assistant, which is a DIY home automation system that you can run on your own computer at home. And in Home Assistant, I kind of fed all this data in so that the power measurement would start once the water got past 60 degrees Fahrenheit and would stop at 212. And during that, in that dashboard, I capture the max power, the amount of power that the induction cooktop is actually pulling from the grid. And I also show you a summary of what the costs were. Turns out not a lot, but I was curious. Does it cost more to cook with this or with a faster unit. So that's it for Home Assistant. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Let's roll the video. A lot of data coming at you. I will bring it together at the end. This pan says induction compatible. Watch. That's the difference. Let's find out why. Custom built rig measures magnetic pull force. Thermal camera will show us where heat actually forms. Home Assistant captures every watt and every degree. One liter of water every time. 3 temperature probes. Measuring temperature live and outputting to Home Assistant. Induction compatible, we'll see. "14 minutes, max power of 753 watts. Tri-ply, aluminum, stainless, with a magnetic outer layer. All right, there you have it. We pulled up to 2,700 watts. Took 2 minutes and 56 seconds to boil the liter of water.
Same water, same cooktop, same test.
This is a Tramontina signature, smaller pot on a large induction hob. We pulled 1,372 watts max. 5.5 minutes to boil that water. The smaller Tramontina on a properly sized element, we pulled 2,500 watts. We boiled a liter of water in 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Size does matter. Before you buy, 3 sticky notes and this magnet. Scrap piece of wood, the magnet, screw that's included with the magnet. If it lifts, buy it. If it drops, leave it. That was a lot of information to pull in 3 or 4 minutes. I'm gonna wrap things up here and explain exactly what was going on and make some conclusions that I believe are gonna help you choose intelligently what cookware and maybe even what induction cooktop that you choose. When I first got an induction cooktop, I had a lot of questions. How does induction work? What does it do? Why is the pan not sticking to the stove? And why am I not getting electrocuted if it's introducing these eddy currents into the pan? Physics, of course, has an explanation for all of this. What's happening in that induction hob, which is a coil of wire, the large ones are around 8 inches, small ones around 6 inches, 5 inches or so. In that hob, there's a very high frequency current that's being switch back and forth. The direction is being switched back and forth about 25,000 times a second. And that's why sometimes when you put a pot on, you hear it buzzing. The current's switching back and forth and it's interacting with the pan. The other thing that we kind of need to understand is that when you put the pan on the hob, it's kind of part of the circuit. So you've got these high frequency electrical impulses going back and forth. And one of the magical things about electricity flowing through a wire is that it generates a magnetic field. And that magnetic field in turn, if it's moving through magnetic metal, can induce currents. So there are actually massive currents being generated in the pan in a circular motion. They're actually switching back and forth. And because they're switching back and forth, they're at a fairly low voltage, but they're a very high current. And because they're isolated in the pan base, you don't get electrocuted, but there are actually massive currents going through. And when current is being pushed through metal, there's resistance. And when there's resistance, there's heat. That's the basics. And that very basic concept of physics is what's generating most of the power around us. Pretty much everything except for solar is being generated by a magnetic field moving through a coil of wire that is in turn generating current. So that's enough theory. Let's get right to the pots here. First of all, this was the worst performing pot. And this is the one that drove me crazy and got me into this rabbit hole of induction. This pan, the only magnetic part of this is this grid here. It's not a lot of magnetic material. It scored lowest in terms of the magnetic pull test. And guess what? It's terrible. It doesn't work well on induction at all. I would say that if you see a grid like this at the bottom of a pan, you can try the magnetic test I showed with the 3 sticky notes, see if it'll lift it. But at the end of the day, if you see this grid, I'd walk away. Simple. Now we have to talk a little bit more about my aluminum donut here. In order to make these tests somewhat equivalent, you do need to cover to eliminate heat loss from the water that's sitting here in this test. So this is like a pot lid. With this pan, with this copper chef, not very well performing induction pan, the water will never boil. You can put a liter of water in that, put the cooktop on max. Unless you put a lid on it, it will never boil. And that kind of tells you that the lid is helping contain some of that heat that's being lost by evaporation and so on. So the lid's important. Now back to the pans. Cast iron was the star, as we saw. It pulled 3,700 watts roughly, and it heated up the water very quickly, around 3 minutes. The downside, and that may be an upside for some of you, is that it's heavy and it has a lot of mass. And it probably took a bit more energy to actually heat up the cast iron and get the water boiling. So we saw that in our test. It used more power. It did boil the water very quick, but it was a bit slower than these Tramontinas because probably of the mass. That mass needed to be heated up. So that's cast. If you have cast and you're thinking about induction, you're good. So then the question is, well, there's all these different tests and all these different cookwares. What do I get? So I looked at a bunch of reviews. I saw the Tramontina ranked fairly well in those reviews. So I decided to purchase a few pots and test them. First of all, these are the Signature series, which I'm not an expert on Tramontina cookware, but the Signature series, I believe, have a higher temp rating to go in your oven and that sort of thing. In the tests with magnetic pull force, you can see that they are better than the terrible pan. They're not as good as cast. Cast iron had about a 17 pound, I believe, pull test. That was by far the highest in everything I tested. The Tramontina were definitely better than the worst and not as good as the cast. But I believe what's going on here is that there is less mass and there's sufficient magnetic material here to couple with the induction hob. And this is advertised as triclad, which I believe is probably stainless on the inside, magnetic stainless on the outside, and probably an aluminum core to dissipate or to transfer heat quickly. That's why these probably perform as well as they do. And this pot was a little faster than the cast. So not as high on the magnetic pull test, but this was kind of the star. And you know what? I believe it's around 8 inches, which probably matches the hob. Now, speaking of matching the hob, we saw some really interesting results when we tested this. You can see that this pan is smaller. This is the Tramontina Signature 1.9 liter pot. And I tested this on the large hob, and then I tested it on the small hob. And what happened on the large hob is it didn't pull a whole lot of power. It pulled definitely less than this. I had a liter of water, again, of course, in here. When I put this on the small hob that was about the same size as the base, it coupled better and it actually pulled more power and boiled the water faster. This was the fastest boil test. That may be due to less heat being lost at the surface of the water, but either way, this smaller pot on a smaller hob actually was the star of the show. I spent about 3 months testing, trying all kinds of different pots and pans, building the test rigs, and coming up with a simple test, the sticky note and the magnet that you could use if you're actually in a store shopping. I hope you found this useful. Have a great day.